Andrew Hunzicker with DOPE CFO, and I'm on Canna Biscuits TV.
What's up, everybody on Canna Biscuits TV? This is your boy Jay Halim, and I got a beautiful opportunity today to bring you guys some real knowledge. I know you like to hear from me, but I have somebody that's way more knowledgeable than me and an amazing subject. So something that we all have to deal with no matter what industry we're in. And so I thought this would be a great opportunity to talk to this gentleman here, Mr. Andrew Hunzicker.
Perfect.
There you go. We got it. And you guys can see that name on the screen, so you got to say it right because I don't want to mess it up. But Mr. Andrew Hunzicker, he is the CEO of DOPE CFO. So you're probably saying, hey, what is that? What is that? What is that? I'm going to let him tell you because he can tell you a little bit better than me. But also I want him to tell you what made him come up with this crazy idea.
All right. Well, that's a great intro, and thank you very much. And so DOPE CFO basically teaches accounting firms all over the U.S., mostly and mostly hopefully like yourself, entrepreneurs, solo, maybe a bookkeeper, a CPA, an enrolled agent, an MBA, or a CFO, people who want to get into the industry in all 50 states and want to work at home for their own firm and just have a one-person firm. And so that's what we teach. We have over 700 firms all over the U.S., and 99% of them are literally just one-person firms. The way, as far as creating the idea, yeah, you're right. It's a great idea because nobody else was doing it. But the funny thing is, like they say, the story about the mousetrap, if you build a better mousetrap, the world will beat a path to your doorstep. Mm-hmm. I didn't come up with this idea. I didn't sit around and think, what should I do as an accountant? I've been an accountant and a CFO and founder of many companies over the last 30 years. And I was just in this niche serving it myself. And I was hit immediately with a problem 5 years ago. There was none of the knowledge, the tools, the work papers that every other niche in the US has for accounting. And so for me to build these work papers and tools I needed, it took me a couple of years. And so I built these not to sell, and these tools and this knowledge and these systems, I built it for myself to serve my clients. But what happened once I did that? The word slowly got out that, oh, Andrew's got that chart of accounts you need. Andrew's got the control work papers or a cash control work paper for a dispensary or whatever it is. And I'd get calls and emails from people all over the US. Hey, can I buy your work paper? Can I buy that tool? And so I would sell little bitty micro bits of what we sell now as a big complete program to people. And that evolved over 3 years into this full-on program to help. We can take a bookkeeper, an accountant, a CPA, anybody, anywhere in the U.S. knows nothing about cannabis. Maybe Sally, I think about in Indiana, 65, never seen a joint in her life, but we trained her to be a cannabis expert in less than 90 days and have a cannabis accounting firm.
Wow, that's amazing. That's amazing. And again, I was excited to hear about this company because that's one of the things, it costs a lot of money to get into the cannabis industry traditionally. And then even if you have the money, you still might not get in. You still not be able to get a license. And so people are like, this is the green rush. I don't want to get left behind. And so you coming up with something like this is truly amazing. So walk me through one of those instances, where somebody, again, they're not interested, they don't use, maybe they're not doing well in their accounting firm, and you say, hey, I got a better idea for you.
Yes. And so we go back to think again about the original gold rush, not the green rush. Who made all the money? We learned about that in school, the people who made the shovels. So the people who made the tools for the people doing the gold rush. So cannabis itself, whether you're talking about farming, indoor or outdoor, chemical processing, food or product manufacturer, distribution, delivery companies, retailers, those are all multi-million-dollar companies. And I can give you many examples of companies that have blown through $5 or $10 million and still gone bankrupt. And so those companies eat up cash like it's going out of business. The tax is very punitive on cannabis companies right now because it's on Schedule 1. It's very, very hard to succeed in the actual cannabis space. But you make a great point, and I want to educate people right there. So many people across the U.S. are thinking, oh, I just need to open up a dispensary, a 7-Eleven on my street corner to sell pot. That is not the way to get rich in cannabis. That's a way to lose a lot of money probably. And so these, what they're called ancillary companies. So instead of being the niche itself, you remove yourself one layer. How do I serve this niche? So first of all, look at service providers. If you're a service provider of any kind, and I'm talking about accountants, attorneys, realtors, plumbers, electricians, brokers, on and on and on. If you do anything in the service industry, you can serve this industry very quickly and help these people out because they need help in every area. And in fact, I know examples of people, like I can think of my original CFO job where plumbing and electrician companies were making on just our client alone, 200-300 grand a year, just being on some of these projects. So for example, our farm in Hillsboro, I think we spent 300 grand on electricians over a year and a half, one company, and that's how much work it took. So there is a lot of money to be made on the things that are side, but it could be lots of things. Building a new kind of bottle to put it, that's for marketing or whatever, or social media or many things.
So how is it that, I'm glad you said social media, you walk right into my next question, because again, somebody that lives in the state, we're in the South, so someone lives in South Carolina, North Carolina, places that's not fully legal or something like that. Do you guys in your program teach them about marketing as well, how to market themselves to the cannabis professionals?
Yes. And so in our program right now, we actually just launched a new digital badge program. So people that stay in our program for 90 days, they get a digital badge. It says DOPE CFO VIP, and they can put it on their social media and LinkedIn and their website, et cetera. Part of that new group is I've got a big marketing team that I've paid a lot of money to that does PR, paid ads, social media, blogs, webinars, et cetera. They're doing now in our group, every week we're doing live calls to go over different topics to help our students. Like, do you need help this week on content and blogging or LinkedIn posting or social media or paid ads or whatever? So we definitely will help those people. Now, one piece of advice I give all my students as well, I call it become a VIP. And so whatever you are, if you're an accountant or an electrician or whatever, or you just have a company making products, build your expertise up in all things cannabis. So even though I'm an accountant, I'm an expert in accounting and tax cannabis, but I know about products, I know about operations, I know about their issues with banking, I know the political issues, which states are going public. So when the business owner talks to me, they're like, oh wow, Andrew knows everything, top to bottom, state laws. So you can learn that and become a VIP expert, and then you can position yourself to instruct. So you can, if you have knowledge in all those areas, you can instruct these business owners and whatnot. You can also put on webinars, et cetera. And then finally, the P of VIP is participate. This is a huge global movement. You can join in. And what happens when you join in the movement and you get involved in things like normal.org or your local state initiatives? You're going to be rubbing elbows with business owners and investors who have a lot of money, and they're going to need your help. And they're like, oh, Sally's over here helping push the movement. I'm going to use her for whatever that piece of the puzzle is. And by the way, finally, on the Southeast and East Coast, what a great place to be. So in my opinion, the two best states to be in the next 5 years are Florida and Texas. Massive population, massive capital, massive farmland. So you're going to have lots and lots of companies, but Georgia's a huge state too. The Carolinas, the whole East Coast, this is going to sweep up and down the coast. There's lots of capital. So whatever you do, you can have, I say you get involved early on the participation side, and you will quickly build a big business.
I love it. I love it. And, I'm glad that you said that, because again, people are concerned, especially in the South, we've heard people in Kentucky, it's never going to happen here and stuff like that. But we know at some point they're going to have to do it. One of the things, this is a cash heavy business.
Yes.
It's a cash heavy business. So from a security perspective, being an accountant, you find people being more nervous dealing with it because, they're not having to deal with the people. They can just send them all their information,
Yes. And so on the cash side, there is a lot of cash in the business, and it kind of relates to early on like casinos. And so when you have a lot of cash, you have lots of counts and double counts and triple counts, and you have safes on the property. That said, there are banks in almost every state that serve cannabis. For example, in Oregon, we have MAPS Credit Union. So most cannabis companies put their money there, but we have tools in our program to deal with that cash. And on the banking side of things, in my opinion, the new administration, one of the first things we'll get next year is we'll get better banking laws to get rid of some of this cash. There's no need to have it be a cash business. It's just like buying beer or coffee or whatever. What? Why does that hurt states and the feds? Well, if you have a lot of cash, you're just going to encourage fraud and illegal activities and skimming. So why not just bank it? Then we can, as what's going on right now with COVID? Cities, counties, states, and our national government are broke, not to mention all of us. We're all out of jobs, so we need money. This industry is COVID proof, it's recession proof. It's a great place to add jobs. It's a great place to collect money and tax revenues. And so we're going to see banking reform pretty quick. We saw CBD, which was exactly like cannabis a couple of years ago. It was on Schedule 1, illegal everywhere. How did it become legal everywhere? Real easily. They took it off Schedule 1 as it's a medicine. And so they could do that very quickly with cannabis next year. And it won't matter if Kentucky or Alabama or whatever's anti-cannabis, it'll be legal overnight if that happens. Yeah. So I would look for a lot of big things to be happening next year.
You said something amazing. So what happens, because there's a lot of conversation about that. What happens if it's legal overnight? How does that change your business?
It doesn't change my business at all. And like people ask, that's a great question. I get asked that on every call. And I said, well, we got a test run. We did this with CBD already. CBD and hemp were illegal, became legal overnight. And from an accounting perspective, it actually became more complex than cannabis. So it takes even more work to our clients. So at the low level, we're doing the day-to-day accounting and books and records on a GAAP accrual basis in all 50 states. It's the same accounting. Then when we go to do the federal tax return at the end of the year, again, same in all 50 states, we all file a federal return and we deal with 280 and 471. Now, if you're a hemp CBD company, you got to do all of what I just said, plus you got to look at other tax codes, 263A, 199A, farm accounting, all these other things on top of USDA and FDA compliance as well. So huge compliance efforts. They're going to need us as the low-level accountants or plumbers or whatever, whether it's legal or not, just like every other industry. The big firms will come in. So and right now they already are. Some of the big ones like BKD and Markham, they're coming into the space. Those people look for more public filing work and audits and assurance that we as the small providers don't do anyway.
I understand. It's, this is a glorious time, definitely. It's been a while since this country had, something like this to look forward to, because again, it is a lot of oversaturation in a lot of different markets, and they trying to take us out of the atmosphere to make it interesting. So, cannabis is definitely an exciting time. Are you seeing that the accountants that join your firm earn more money?
Oh yeah. So, and again, generally this applies to almost every industry. Cannabis companies generally pay more for whatever they're doing, whether it's buying real estate or paying their accountants. And the reason for that is there are more challenges. And so this is one of those glass half full, half empty. Cannabis accounting is complex. It's not simple. We have all kinds of sub niches within cannabis. And so we have to do more work. It's more challenges. The software is really poor still at this point. And so we have to deal with bugs and bad reports and bad data. And so because of that, we charge higher fees. And so most of our competition, the people that aren't in our program, don't have the tools or the knowledge or systems to do it right. And so when we come in to pitch to any one of my students in the DOPE CFO VIP program, we're pitching, look, we're doing this right. It's super important to the cannabis owner to do it right, because the IRS is coming and they're going to be auditing these companies in a big way. So we say, look, you better do it right. You're going to pay a little more for us up front, but you're going to be safer on the back end when the IRS shows up. We've seen lots of companies go under when the IRS shows up.
And they're coming for sure.
Yeah. Oh yeah, because again, it's easy. So they actually just did a report and they said, we need to audit more of these companies because one, they found that they're way underpaying tax as a general niche. They're doing tax wrong and they owe millions and millions of dollars. And so it's easy money for the IRS. Let's go after these companies and collect the money that's due.
Yeah. So People definitely need to know about that part because they don't want to end up on the wrong side of that.
Yeah, just and Google the poor Alterman case. It's the Altermans, and they're out of Colorado, and they had a little farm, just kind of hippies way back in the day, and they were one of the first people the IRS showed up to, and I think it was a $500,000 judgment, put them out of business. They were in courts fighting the IRS for 7 years.
Wow.
Who wants to do that?
Yeah, no one.
And they went bankrupt. Yeah, and we tell business owners, fighting the IRS is not what you want to do, even if you think you can win. And look at Harborside, they're still fighting, trying to go to the Supreme Court. They spent no telling how many millions of dollars on legal fees outside of just running their business.
I definitely understand that. Listen, this has been amazing. I want you to leave my people with your sales pitch to get them, all the accountants out there, to go ahead and sign up to be a part of the Dope CFO. Go ahead, let them know what they can get.
All right, so you can come to dopecfo.com. You can email me at bbe@dopecfo.com if you want any more information. We help all kinds of accountants in all 50 states. Our program is basically 4 parts. It's education and knowledge to get you quickly up to speed on all issues, tax, accounting, etc. It's a marketing system in a box. So we actually help you with the finding and closing great cannabis clients in all states, and build a remote firm so you can work out of your bedroom and serve all 50 states. The core of our program is part 3 though, and that's the actual tools and work papers that you can download on day 1 and serve these clients. And then the final piece is our VIP community. So you have this huge network of 200 attorneys, accountants, CPAs at your back to help you run your business. And so it's a complete program. And yeah, if you're trying to get in the niche, it is a huge shortcut. We can get you there immediately. And we've got many success stories of people building big firms in under 6 months.
I love it. I love it. Again, you guys heard that. You got all that information right there. Please go ahead and find them. You guys have a social media account? You can let us know how they can find you on social media.
Oh yeah, Dope CFO on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. Just type in Dope CFO and you'll find us everywhere.
Okay, get on, follow them, and listen to the success stories and the testimonials and everything.
Yeah, we have Google our podcast as well. We interview lots of people in the program, so it's a great podcast. Okay,
great. Thank you so much, Andrew. It's been great learning some more from you. I've learned something. Definitely like to hear about what's going on in the East Coast, because the East Coast is kind of worried, especially the southern part of it.
Yeah. Well, it's going to be awesome. And yeah, thank you so much for having me. But yeah, it's going to explode across the nation here completely in the next year or so.
Yeah, we're all looking forward to it. Listen, you guys, y'all heard it right here. You see, he's been around longer than we have, but you got it first here on Canna Biscuits TV. Andrew, thank you so much. I'm Jay. Y'all see y'all next time. Thank you again, Andrew.